works different chests, and that's why you need to switch back over to change your chest. So you're not going to just be working one chest. Knees planted in the ground. And then make sure your arms are 90 degrees. 2, 3. Make sure it's in line with your chest. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh my days. Wow. I haven't seen these videos in years. I remember this, the beginning of 2014, I was 16 here and literally the first time I held dumbbells in my hands. Believe it or not, my intention wasn't even to train here. This was a random school group project that got me started. I remember getting called skeleton, twig boy, stick boy. Little did I know that this random school group project was the beginning of an unwritten story of gains, which would ultimately become my career as well. I remember this picture too. I was 17 here, with a combined 30 days of training in that old dusty school gym. This was also just after high school graduation. My two really good friends and I were flexing our non-existent muscles on the beach, and someone had the brilliant idea that this time next year, whoever got the biggest muscles would be the undisputed winner of the group. Literally within that same week, on December 24, 2014, I signed up to my very first gym. Back then, I had nothing but bro science and a goal to get absolutely massive. I honestly had no idea what I was doing back then. But what I do remember is I went to the gym 6 times a week and was overtraining, spending almost 2 hours in every single gym session. Leading into the showdown between my mates and I, for some reason I did this random 5-week shred, probably to try and get an upper hand on him, but unfortunately one friend got a serious shoulder injury and the other one had, let's just say, a different kind of mass, the fluffy kind. So 5 weeks into that shred, now without a clear goal. I feel like at this point I was just doing it for my own ego, but I did decide to change paces and start bulking up at that time instead. But I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was doing whatsoever. I had no idea what I was eating, how to eat, or anything about nutrition. As a result, the entire 2016 slipped by, filled with nothing but overtraining, undereating, and a severe plateau that I had no idea how to get out of. My mental state during this year was also at its worst. I remember just completely staying off of socials and being a complete introvert, and I believe this was the only photo and video that I took that year. These were taken in 2017, when I finally decided I had enough of working so hard in the gym and not seeing any progress. I remember falling into a rabbit hole of research, binge watching every single video I can get my hands on, watching things like nutrition, training, workout videos, and pretty much everything, just to figure out what it was that I was doing wrong. This is where everything changed. Near the end of 2017, I started tracking calories for the very first time. It was also when I made this switch from training 6 times a week in the gym to 5 days instead. Then 2018 rolls around the corner. Now with just over 3 years of consistent training, I decided I wanted to compete in my first natural bodybuilding show. I remember during those first 4 months of the year, I literally did nothing and focused on nothing besides my training, nutrition, and posing.
What's going on here, Ed? What's that? Oh, damn.
I dedicated my entire life during that time to competing. I stepped on stage in the men's physique category, and after 3 long months of dieting, I managed to win all 3 of my categories on a day. I went from 73.5 kilograms all the way down to 66 kilograms. Straight after my shows, I fell into heavy binge eating. And what took me 12 weeks to lose only took me 2 weeks to put back on. I remember being in a massive food coma every other day, sleeping for almost the entire day and eating between 4 and 10,000 calories on most days. It was as if I had zero control of my body and an endless appetite. After setting myself a new goal of competing again in 2019, I started a serious bulking phase. This phase lasted 8 months, and I remember consistently eating between 3,000 and 3,800 calories per day. In early 2019, I peaked at 78 kilos, just before having to shred again for my next competition, which saw me go all the way right back down to 68 kilos. I managed to win all my categories again on show day, coming second in the overalls. But I wasn't finished there. This time around, I did back-to-back shows, and I stepped on stage in the Australian National Championships, where I came 5th in both my categories. Like last time though, straight after my show, I fell into another spiral of binge eating. I put on 10 kilograms in 1 month. That's crazy. After continuing to lean bulk, I ended that year at 80.5 kilograms. This was early 2020. I was 7 weeks into another shred with plans on competing again. 5 weeks out from nationals. I remember I was also about to make my classic physique debut in this year. But then lockdown hits. Wow. Worst period of my life by far. Gyms were closed. Everything was closed. Everything was in chaos. Everything was upside down. And my motivation to continue training and continue my lean bulk was at an all-time low. I didn't want to do anything.
Day 1 of home workouts with Edward Schleller and Emilio. We are going to be showing you guys what we do on a daily basis to gain in lockdown. Main component, food, lift,
And
protein. Come on! This is it. Let's go. Push!
Even though I invested a lot of money in gym equipment, continued training at home like 3 to 4 times per week, and continued tracking my calories, none of that mattered because I lost a lot of strength and muscle at the end of lockdown. But it definitely would have been a lot worse had I not done anything at all. Literally the moment lockdown ended and gyms reopened and everything started going back to normal, I went straight back into routine. I started training again 5 times consistently per week in the gym and started tracking my calories like no one's business. I was eating between 3,300 to 3,800 calories consistently per day, to the point where I peaked at 85 kilograms by the end of the year. This was the heaviest I've ever been in my life by far. Which brings us to 2023, where I was long overdue to compete again. The last time I had competed was over 3 years ago at Nationals, so this time I wanted to make it count. I wanted to make it different. I recorded the entire journey on YouTube, breaking down exactly what I do step by step along the way in the lead up to a show. This was also the most amount of weight I've ever lost at once, going from 85 kilos all the way down to 72.5 in just 90 days. And finally, today's current date, August 2023, looking the best I've ever looked in my life. Achieving a physique that little old 17-year-old me only ever dreamt of. But having done this all naturally, and not only proving to myself, but proving to everyone in their own fitness journey who's starting out, that no matter what, with enough time, consistency and patience, you too can achieve this transformation.